Okay, this is going to be my review of this Monoprice graphics tablet. It's 10 inches by 6 1/4 inches working area, and let's get it unboxed. Just came in the mail today. Total of $47 and some odd cents, and that does include shipping. So it's an extremely good deal for this size of a tablet, but let's see later on if it actually is worth the money I paid for it. So, alright, take it out of the box. As you can see, it's a fairly good sized tablet, and I have kind of big hands. So, it's got plenty of working area. You got your hotkeys right here at the top, and they're programmable. And it also has, if I can get my thumbnail under it, this little lift up sheet so you can slide a paper underneath it and trace. If you draw by hand with a pencil, there we go, like I like to do. So I can draw something on paper, slip it up under there, and instantly digitize it. So let's get that out of the way. Now, it comes with spare pen tips right there, the battery for the pen, the driver's software. It also comes with a software suite. I don't know if it says on the back. Yes, it does. Annotation for Word, Pen Commander, Pen Signature, Pen Mail, Pen Notice. I'll be going over all those later. And here's the pen itself. Button there, button is that. No eraser button, but I never really used one to begin with on the other tablet I had. Nice size though. Feels nice. Oh, between the plastic. Oh, and comes with a little stand to keep your pen in. Okay, I've got the device up and running. Maybe kind of an awkward angle in me trying to work this because the tripod's right here in front of me, so I'm having to work around it. So, as you can see, nice large tablet. The pen seems a little on the cheap side as far as build quality, especially this grip here, because this doesn't seem to fit very well. But it works, so can't really complain. And actually it is a 3-button. I didn't know that. You see, one button is obviously the pen tip, but this button right here is not just a single button. It's got a front part and a back part, and you can set the buttons to be whatever you want. In this case, the front is middle click for me, the back is right click for me. Now, as you can notice, I'm using 2 screens on my computer, and it does work with both screens. And it's a little awkward because you see this tablet down here and you're like, oh, okay, that's my screen here. Well, and then you realize, oh, I've crossed over to this other one by mistake. Now, some programs will override that. For example, now I'm in GIMP, and GIMP overrides it, and it uses the whole screen is just this one, the whole tablet is just that one screen. But if I was to quit GIMP, discard, it goes back once you click on the desktop. Oops. Okay, what do I do now? Okay, sorry about the jump cut there. As you can see, I've zoomed in on this, the primary screen here, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. GIMP, like I said, disables the second screen, or disables the fact that you can use the tablet to access the second screen. And the included software programs that come with the tablet also disable the second screen, or I should say the access to the second screen. Programs that come with it. If you're using Windows 7, it advertises 5 programs on the back, but only 3 of them are going to install. And as far as I can tell, none of them actually work like they're supposed to. Well, Pen Notice probably does. Pen Notice, if I click on it here, seems to be just basically an annotation type program. You can switch from using a mouse to using an annotate. So like let's say you're doing a presentation and you've broadcast your computer screen onto a projector or to a TV, and you can you know, like let's say I want to tell them, oh, you want to click on that right there. Well, it lets you basically write on the screen, and then you can go back to mouse mode and all your little doodles go away. It also lets you pull up just a blank screen where you can just write directly on there if you feel like it. And it also lets you save it if you want, but we don't want to, so why don't we exit that out? Yes. And oh no, I saved it anyway. Oh well, I'll just delete that later. But like I said, it also disables your second screen temporarily while that program is running. It can be a little awkward too sometimes because the program can actually be running and down there in the corner, but it won't be selected. It's like a taskbar icon in Windows XP, except Windows 7 taskbar icons are kind of weird. Sometimes they show up in the taskbar, sometimes they don't. That's just Windows 7 for you. So if you have it down here and then you click off of it, it'll go back to letting you use two screens. But if you've clicked on that, then you're stuck in the one screen again. So it's a little weird sometimes, but not too bad. Pen signer, excuse me. Basically it's supposed to let you sign your emails and your Word documents like you would sign it with a regular pen, except unfortunately it doesn't work properly in Windows 7, so basically it just becomes another annotator. You can just doodle on the screen, except it's a much bolder line, it's a little easier to see. But that's all you can do is draw. You can't bring up a blank screen to draw on, and if you want you can just clear it out and you're back into mouse mode. So that's basically just another annotator because it doesn't work properly in 7. Pen mail basically lets you write an email like you're actually writing with a pen, so it's kind of neat. But basically what it does is it just saves it as a JPEG picture, and then you attach it to your email or you embed it in your email. So that probably does work, although I have not tried to send an actual email. You see when I exit out, it says save changes. Yes, let's save it. And as you can see, it just says JPEG. And that little thing that pops up when you're using Windows 7, if you just click it, it automatically zoops the little thing over here. So a little shortcut there. But that is all that will run on Windows 7, or at least all that mine runs on Windows 7. I haven't checked to see if there's an update, but considering on the back of the box it says, please note, some programs will not work on Windows 7, odds are they haven't updated it. Hopefully they will in the future. Those are pretty neat programs. But now let's try drawing something. GIMP is a free open source image editing program, and it's really good. I like using it. It even supports the different pressure controls on this tablet, except it really doesn't like it when you use two screens. And I'll show you in a minute here. It was screwed up on me earlier. And I'll see if it'll do it again. One, it locks it to one screen. Well, that ordinarily is pretty good because you don't want to try and, you want to use this whole tablet for your picture. So you don't want to be drawing off the screen over there. That I like. But the problem is, let's see, move that up. File, new. Let's see if it'll do it again. Yeah. I don't know if you can tell, but you can see my cursor right here. Well, where it actually is picking up where you're drawing at is actually way over here. For some reason, when you're running two screens and using GIMP like this, it really screws things up. Now you can either just get used to it and have your cursor way over there while you're drawing here, but when you move it further to the right, as you can see, the cursor and the dot get farther and farther apart, and as you move it to the left, they get closer and closer together, so it really screws up your drawing. So what you have to do is, if you want to use GIMP, basically you just disable your second monitor, or if you're not using a second monitor at all, oh yeah, and GIMP will also disable the tablet features on Windows 7. So when you open up GIMP, that little long hold that I showed you with the little swirl thing, yeah, all that turns off for some reason. I'm pretty sure that's just a problem with GIMP, or the compatibility with GIMP and Windows 7. Oh shoot, revert. I chose clone the screen. Show only on one, there we go. Now, keep changes. If you do that, or if you're only running one screen to begin with, works perfectly. Let's make this bigger. It supports the texture. As you can see, I'm drawing really, really lightly, and then I can really press down on it and draw some fat, bold lines. Oops, moved it around. There we go. And like I said, GIMP is free, and it's very powerful. Layers, all sorts of tools, smudge tools, pretty much. I haven't used Photoshop, but it seems to have pretty much everything that it does from what I've read. I also use Paint.net, which is another free program, but it does not support the pressure input. It'll draw the same bold line no matter how hard you press down on this thing. So right now I'm really cramming it into the tablet, and right now I'm really just barely touching the tablet. And let's go ahead and exit out of that. the good thing about this tablet is it basically replaces the mouse. So any program that uses the mouse, you can use with this tablet. Any image editing program, any program like, you know, media player, whatever. It basically just replaces the mouse. So if you want to use the pen instead of a mouse, if you find that to be easier, you can do that. And you can even use the shortcut keys to even make moving around your programs and stuff even easier. You know, you have all of these are programmable, but as you can see, they have, you know, web, mail, MSN, such like that. But you can make MSN open up your email or whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. But so you can even use those like close, copy, paste, and whatnot to make working on your computer even easier or even quicker. Personally, I still like the mouse. I bought this mainly to just doodle with. But but is it worth the value? I mean, yes, it is. I had in the past a Wacom pen partner, and I would still be using it. Unfortunately, it was a serial. It wasn't a USB. It was a serial connector it would use, and you had to have both a PS2 port and a serial port on your computer, which is way outdated. I mean, I don't even know of a new computer you can buy that has one of those. You'd have to build it yourself by buying a motherboard that actually has a serial port still on it. So I actually got rid of that to a person that had an older computer. And I have to say, this is just as good as the Wacom. Maybe even a little better, because I remember the Wacom jittering around, or maybe my hand was just shaking that day. Or maybe it's the fact that this is so much bigger than that Wacom was. For example, like the Wacom pen, or the Wacom pen and touch, if you want the touch feature. This doesn't, by the way. You cannot use your finger on this. So just the Wacom pen, I think, is about $60 or $70, and it is considerably smaller. The Wacom pen, if I'm not mistaken, is about the size of this book. Total, the actual unit. The actual using area is even smaller than that, maybe the outline, as you can see here. But I mean, I can't even fit it in the shot. That's how much bigger this thing is. It's just huge, which is good for doing detailed drawing. So you don't move half an inch on the tablet and it moves 10 inches on the screen. So yeah, bigger is usually better with tablets, and this is no exception. It works amazing. It's very sensitive. The pressure levels seem to work just great, and it also has some nice customization features. If you go into the thing here, here's where you choose your button, but you can also choose your scope. So for example, let's say you don't want to use this whole big old huge working area. I don't know why you wouldn't, but you can scale it down or move it around even, where you can have a dead area off on the corners here if you wanted. I don't know why, but let's move it back to center, and you can even shrink it down. So if you wanted to just use one corner of that, you could. What's also cool is you can do screen ratio. Whoops, okay, full area. Screen ratio. So I have a 16:9 monitor, and it automatically sizes it to 1600 by 900. So that way, exactly how you move it on here is just the same as if you were moving it directly on this screen. Or you could tell it to reserve edges, where it puts a little dead area all the way around it. For example, like if you had a program that had like a thicker border, you could set a dead area so your pencil or your pen wouldn't try to go off of it. So yeah, pretty cool features and an amazing price, I have to say. You can also adjust your pressure in here and test it around and whatnot. And there's your hot cells as well, and you can set the hot cells to, like I said, any program you want, or a keyboard shortcut like Control V or Control A or something. But yeah, so overall, I would say definitely worth the price. I mean, $47 and it's shipped to your door. It's an amazing price for a very good quality product, like I said, except for the pen, which seems a little cheap, but it's solid enough. It doesn't bend or anything that I can tell. And it works, so that's my only real complaint about it, except for maybe the fact that the pen base and the pen doesn't go down in there very deep, so it doesn't seem like it's sitting in there very well. But yeah, you see, you jiggle it a little bit and it falls off. But if you jiggle it just a teeny bit, it'll stay in there. Your tool to actually remove the pin nibs is on the bottom here, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, the pin is really the only complaint I have about this, and the pin base, I consider that part of it. But it's really not that big of an issue, especially considering that a Wacom is $60 to $70, and this is just, might as well just say $50 to make things simple. And it's much, much bigger. Okay, sorry for kind of cutting in at the end here, but I just wanted to point out that the quick start guide and the e-manual are actually in kind of bad English. You see, like right here it says, because the hardware different, understands the hardware each place representative function. I still haven't figured that one out.